Okay, we got a little Star Citizen here talking about the tragic state of ground vehicles in Star Citizen. Couldn't agree more. Let's hear what DTOX has to say.
Star Citizen continues to move well beyond the scope of just a space game. With a new, more punishing atmospheric flight model, violent weather, and base building on the horizon, Star Citizen is more planetside than ever before. Yet, with these additions to the game, we're still left with a gigantic hole in dire need of filling if we're going to truly enjoy the game's vast, detailed environments. It's a hole that sits between the ultimate power of atmospheric spaceships and the disconnected helplessness of players on foot. Working ground vehicles are the next piece to the planetary puzzle to close the gap between players on the ground and players in the air, altogether creating a unique blend the likes of which no other game has achieved. The good news is Star Citizen's developers are already selling ground vehicles.
Except the bad news is when you're inside of them, the field of view are horrible. There's so many issues. There's so many issues.
Bad news is they really, really suck. You see, using ground vehicles in combat is a bit like rowing a boat upstream, and the boat is riddled with holes. You're blindfolded, the oars are made from sugar cubes, and there's an equivalent of an AC-130 with the agility of a hawk jammed up your ass.
I love DTOX, man. DTOX is on point, man.
Hello, I'm DTOX, and when I'm not making sweaty, vaguely humorous, narrative-driven Star Citizen gameplay videos, I like to play armchair games developer and deliver some much-needed commentary on issues I feel sorely needed. In this video, I'm going to show you why ground vehicles suck and how we should make them suck less for a better Star Citizen for all. Firstly, they're filled with strange design choices and inherent weaknesses with almost no...
Okay, but first, I gotta say, there are some really cool designs.
Firstly, they're filled with strange design...
Aesthetically, I love the looks of the Storm. I just love the looks of this. This is total Thundercats. You cannot tell me this is not the Thundercats fucking tank right here. I love this. Okay, like this one, don't touch it. I think they need to make other sizes of this. Call it one the Hurricane. Make a bigger one. Call it the Hurricane.
Choices and inherent weaknesses with almost no strengths to make up.
But what the problem with the ground vehicles is utilitarian in nature. You know, it's like field of views are horrible. You know, as far as hitting anything, so much more difficult than if you're in a ship.
For them, which is a byproduct of CIG's sacred mantra for ground vehicle design, rule of cool above all else.
So we opted for something a little less classical and went on a design that is absolutely more related to the manga and anime's world.
In almost every situation, you're simply better off bringing a ship. Combat-oriented ground vehicles are completely underrepresented in Star Citizen's gameplay loops, yet they continue to be sold at hefty prices. The Ursa rover was released in 2017, 6 years ago with 3.0. It arrived with the first introduction of planets in Star Citizen, yet there was no reason to use it. Its purpose is still yet to be defined, along with every other ground vehicle that has been introduced since, except
also physics, both flying in atmosphere and also driving around on the planet, also physics. I mean, physics is a huge factor in this as well.
The ROC. For the purpose of this video, I'll mostly be covering combat and transport-oriented ground vehicles, as these make up the majority. The best outcome for combat-oriented ground vehicles is a world where anti-air on the ground is a legitimate and formidable threat, where a combined arms problem requires a combined arms solution,
it's coming
where
up.
tanks and marines are deployed to hunt down anti-air platforms, creating problems for the airspace above, to clear the way for bombing runs and close air support to do that.
More anti-air, more anti-air with better utilitarian design, period. To make sure that pilots aren't just going to fly in for easy pickings. There has to be more anti-air units, more anti-air ground vehicles.
Dynamic Star Citizen where one small combined arms engagement could encompass tens to hundreds of...
You got to make pilots scared to come down in on you. And right now, that feeling is not there yet.
Kilometers of Star Citizen's incredible planetary environments that are otherwise completely underutilized. While there is a huge list of problems these vehicles face, some of these problems can be reduced by a few corrections and adjustments to the vehicles themselves. the first hurdle to overcome with ground vehicles is to justify the resources required to deploy them. Currently, the best and most efficient way to move them is by using the Hercules Starlifter, a massive ship with a minimum of 2 crew requirement. So before you've even put a single player inside your tank, storm, or ballista, you've already committed valuable time, resources, and players to move them. Which means when a vehicle has run out of ammo, becomes damaged or destroyed, or CIG's incredible physics simulation decides to flip a 50-ton tank chassis on its back.
This right here. This is a major setback, and has always felt this way. It feels disconnected. It has always felt disconnected. Some of the physics we have now would be fine if they were like very low gravity areas. But for very Earth or terrestrial gravities, like I don't want this. I want physical damage when things fall over, and like not random explosions.
Or CIG's incredible physics simulation decides to flip a 50-ton tank chassis on its back, you'll again need that logistical chain on standby to deliver.
I'm gonna be yelling it out. 2024 is gonna be like my physics rant year. Like like people are like, oh, DG's a white knight. DG's a white. No, like I will continually pound the table on physics.
Replacements. That's already 2 players who could both simply be flying combat ships, which are currently better than ground vehicles by every measure. When you factor in the crew seats of vehicles like the Ballista and Nova Tank, 2 and 3 crew respectively, you've got to start asking some questions like, why the f am I doing this?
Copy A2 incoming, Roscoe's direction.
One of the easiest ways to improve ground vehicles across the board is to simply make them tougher.
The seat, that A2 is glaring like
he's right.
No one's business.
Design problems aside, vehicles like the Nova Tank, Ballista, Spartan, and Centurion are fragile and need anywhere between a
But also just in terms of PvP, they've got a huge disadvantage right from the start, because most ground vehicles are glass cannons. No matter how awesome they look, they blow up way too fast. Ships have a huge advantage in terms of their field of view, and there needs to be some serious buffs going on with ground vehicles all in all. Like right now, just right now, at the state of the game right now, they need to like raise the bar on all ground vehicles so that they can last longer. Otherwise, why are you loading them in ships? Why are you taking the time to even get in them? Period.
25 to 50% increase in hull HP. The Spartan, in particular, a troop transport vehicle, gives up its weapons in order to carry a large number of troops. Yet it comes with no additional defense or unique properties to justify its role as a troop transport vehicle.
It's so hard to hit. Yeah, DTOX is stuck now.
A2 is heading towards DTOX and bar.
The Spartan should be almost double the effective HP of its counterparts while carrying its precious meaty payload. In addition, vehicles size 0 shields need larger health pools across the board.
Hell yes.
A size 0 pin shield standard across vehicles has a whopping 750 HP in comparison to an arrow's more than double, 1,725, for example. Why are military ground vehicles 900 years in the future so underpowered? With much less mobility or requirements for specialized components like quantum drives and quantum fuel capacity, ground vehicles should be built tougher.
Careful, guys. Keep moving because we've got incoming missiles. Veggie 1's overhead.
New ship from my direction.
Ground vehicles can't evade incoming fire, so they don't really need shield regen, but their shields need to absorb more damage so they have more time to do their job. Ground vehicles give up so much in comparison to ships, it should take more than light pressure for enemies to deal permanent damage. In addition, bar the storm, none of these vehicles currently have a soft death state, which is incredibly important for ground vehicles, where occupants should be able to escape and continue the fight.
Yeah, as soon as you take any kind of damage, there goes the top turret, and there goes the my turret straight away.
Vehicle component hit points and distortion resistance are also in need of adjustments across the board.
Also, I love DTOX music picks. Like right now, I feel like I'm just like driving down like the ghetto road, man. I'm like feeling it with the sun rising. Like bow, 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 bow. I totally feel West Side while I'm listening to this right now.
New vehicles like the Storm ship with single-digit hit points on their components, which is luckily now being corrected. But why did it even ship with these stats in the first place?
What's up, Sketch? Good morning to you.
The lack of situational awareness, feedback, and information inside vehicles is quite literally blinding. In a universe where snub fighters like the Fury MX can deploy an armored blast shield but maintain full visibility due to external cameras, the first-person pilot experience inside the Storm and Nova tank, for example, is needlessly claustrophobic. This forces pilots to use the remote turret view, and while this provides better vision, there is almost no informational feedback for the player to use. No crucial target information, no radar, no vehicle information, no damage interpretation, no shield strength, no component status, just nothing.
Yes, the UI is just really not there. The UI is not there like it needs to be there. He's absolutely right. They can put the UI in this this particular point of view. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? You got to give these guys more of an advantage, for God's sake. They're getting shot at from above. You need some type of indications so that people know what the F is going on, especially when like riding in it, your field of view, like I said at the very beginning, is so very limited.
Nothing. Even back inside the cockpit. Do you know what else is really stupid about ground vehicles? We don't have self-status. We don't have a self-status. It's so bad. Like, what the f***, man? I am begging CIG to spend some time consulting experts and designing some player-friendly functionality for these vehicles before rule of cool aesthetics to maximize sales. CIG, you would sell more ground vehicles if they could actually fulfill their role. Trying to use vehicles' clunky weaponry and uninformative UI is only rivaled in frustration by attempting to actually drive them. Driving ground vehicles is tedious, a testament to the absolute champion.
Just look at the look, you know, check out that Storm hitting its nose on there and just doing like a tumble, like there's no atmosphere or anything around it, no gravity. It's just like, it's horrible. It's like this on every single planet or moon that you're on. It's just like this. And you know, like that breaks your immersion right off the bat. Physics will definitely, Starlet's going to be very happy to hear that I'm going to take much more of a hard stance, and I'm going to definitely talk about physics in 2024. So, you know, while in 2023, I was like, I knew what was going on behind the scenes. I did have some inside information. I kind of knew that this work was happening behind the scenes, and then it just got slammed onto all the Star Citizen content creators at CitizenCon. And all we heard was, there's no progress, there's no progress, there's nothing happening. In 2023, I was telling people, no, that's not true, that's fake news. People, wake up. There's 1,000 employees, they're working on it, stuff is happening. They don't have to expose every single thing that they're working on. You know, a lot of SC content creators feel like they're entitled and they need to know every piece of information. So if they don't get that information, they're going to tell you, oh, well, there's nothing happening. And they're getting those clicks. They're getting the monetizable views. They're monetizing your eyeballs. They want to talk about the problems because people inherently click on bad news. It's just the way we're programmed, unfortunately. Our DNA makes us click on the like, oh, God, the sky is falling, because it's a defense mechanism, because we're humans and we want to make sure that we're either, you know, depending upon fight or flight, whatever camp you're in, you know the bad news, so you're either fighting it or you're running away from it. It's the way people are designed, unfortunately. You can't get past that. What's up, you are good? 4 months like a boss. Thank you so much. He says, just remember, you are good. Quoted by You Are Good. I see what you did there. Thank you so much, bro. But like the physics. What's up, noob? How you doing? Good morning, buddy.
Of the Daymar rally, who willingly put themselves through 8 to 10 hours of this torture for our entertainment. In recent months, CIG made improvements to ground vehicle movement, which was particularly noticeable in the Atlas platform and Ursa rover. These improvements helped them better traverse terrain and ascend inclines, while making them more resilient to impacts with rocks. The Storm, however, the newest addition to the ground vehicle lineup, feels like it received none of these improvements. This light tank, which nonsensically is wider than its big brother the Nova tank, has a tendency to pop wheelies with simple rock collisions, routinely getting stuck on trivial terrain due to
it's an immersion breaker, man. It's an immersion breaker. Get on it. Get on it.
To its abysmal ground clearance, and it'll flip itself over and cry for mummy while you stare.
So I will say this. In 2023, while everybody's telling you there was no progress, and I probably was one of the only Star Citizen guys out there saying that there is, everybody just buckle up, CitizenCon's going to be good. And then we saw everything that happened and exploded on us. And I was like, okay, yeah, see, there you go. In 2024, now everybody's shifting gears. So the content creators that were out there that were selling you this false narrative that there's no progress happening, which is ridiculous, and people were biting on it hook, line, and sinker. The masses loved it. You know, everybody chewed it up and got the torches ready and were ready to burn it all down. While those content creators were telling you everything bad was happening, then CitizenCon exploded, and we saw, oh, actually, there was a lot that happened. Now the same Star Citizen content creators are kind of like stepping to the side, not taking the responsibility and sliding into 2024. And what they're going to tell you now is like, everything's great. Everything's going to be done tomorrow, to kind of make up for the fact that they were so wrong about 2023. And your pal DG here is going to slide into a more defensive stance. And I'm going to do the opposite of what the mainstream Star Citizen content creators are doing. And it might not be, you know, up to par and what you're interested in. You know, God forbid I'm actually rationalizing things and what I feel like is giving you the truth. In 24, I'm going to slam physics. So while everybody telling you it's great now and switching gears on you, now I'm going to tell you, hey, now that we're here, right now we've seen what's happening that I said was happening. Now I'm going to say, fix the physics, God damn it. Now I'm going to do something that is very DG like. Thank you so much.
I'm in a fountain.
I'm going to pound the table on it over and over again, because this is completely immersion breaking, and it's always been.
Helplessly at your $80 50-ton screenshot machine. Improvements and better design choices, particularly for tracked vehicles, cannot come soon enough to provide tanks and heavy vehicles with better mobility, a more grounded and intuitive driving experience, while preventing damage and vehicle loss due to terrain that should be otherwise trivial for a military vehicle 900 years in the future.
I like DTOX's stance on this.
The one strength ground vehicles have is their stealth. Due to their overall lower signatures, it's difficult for air forces to detect them before entering the vehicle's weapon range, which was where we had previously been able to secure surprise attack kills and enjoy success while justifying their shortcomings.
The promise is here, though. I mean, like the you can feel this. This is the thing about this game. The potential is right there. It's you can lick the screen and taste it. Do it. Seriously, do it. Taste amazing. Like so the potential is right there, but like Noob is saying something in chat that really kind of like hit something in me. He says, someone said it best, SIG is a ship selling company who also happens to be making a game, right? So the revenues are off the charts. Ships continue to roll out. People are buying the ships before they're done. I understand what needs to happen in order for this to be a success. I don't get so upset at that, Noob. What I need, though, besides the ship aspect of it, I used to be so mad about that, like ship after ship after ship after ship. And then I was just like, I had to be like, okay, this is how they're funding the game. I just had to take a step back and like kind of go capitalist and recognize the fact, okay, this is just how they're doing it. We need more attention. Now you're starting to see it, like flight experience. You're starting to see like more focus on like the actual the mechanics of the game. Thank God, you know. And you know, like you've got people very upset about what's going on with master modes and everything, and you know, you've always got that realism versus fun. You've always got that battle, you know, and somewhere in the middle you gotta balance the two perfectly. So master modes is going to take some time. The flight experience is going to take some time. I know like everybody's up in arms and it's a big, you know, everybody's fighting about master modes right now. To me personally, I just see it as like it's going to be a long time. It's going to be like this evolution and de-evolution. It's just going to be a back and forth between the people that want like ultra realistic and the others that want like more arcadey fun. And I'm somewhere like in the middle. Like I don't know. Like I'm actually like if a gun was pointed on my head, I'm like ultra realist, you know, to be completely honest. Like I'm like all the way in the realist camp, but like I understand what you have to do to make a successful game. I understand that you got to kind of dumb it down and you got to put the like super explosion fun part into the game, right? So that's why I'm saying, okay, well, we gotta find a middle ground that we can get so that the game is somewhat successful for the masses. I understand this. So the flight experience in master modes, don't worry about it. It's going to take a lot of time to balance that out. But the physics does not get away with a pass. Okay, the master modes and the flight experience, understand. The physics, I'm not giving physics a pass. It needs to get better.
This was particularly powerful for the ballista. With its 50-meter minimum lock distance, that's now been nerfed to 1,000 meters.
You gotta be careful about
instead,
that, Ash. You're right, dude.
As if the ballista wasn't already enough of a shell of its former glory.
Oh! Ho, 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 ho.
This was the best tool for taking out unsuspecting ships with 1 or 2 surprise hits at short range. Unfortunately, as of the 3.20 patch series, these stealthy characteristics are being changed for the worse, and most ground vehicles have had their detection ranges increased, reducing their stealthiness and making them more vulnerable to missile attacks from air with no way to retaliate. It looks like these changes may be reverted in patch 3.22, which is great, but it makes you wonder what their intentions were in the first place. If CIG boosts vehicle signature emissions too far, they become lockable at distances beyond the effective range of their surface-to-air guns and deadly intercept distance for platforms like the ballista's size 7 torpedoes, giving ships even more free reign of airspace regardless of nearby anti-air capabilities. Remember, just getting to where they need to be has already required a logistical headache, but when it's time to do their job, we're only reminded of how pointless the entire endeavor is. The list goes on, from non-standard vehicle dimensions and poorly designed ship ramps with improper gradients making transport difficult, janky unsettled vehicle physics grids when inside ships, a lack of vehicle-based rangefinders on weapons for calling distances, a lack of 20th century smoke launchers to block line of sight, crew and power scaling that justifies the manpower, the inability to rearm the ballista's missile rack in the field, an over-reliance on useless missiles and server-dependent.
He is so on point, man. I love this. You know, he is an FPS kind of BR on the boots on the ground type of dude. If you want to listen to somebody, listen to DTOX with this stuff. You know, I'm hoping Cloud Imperium does. I feel like DTOX has a large enough audience to get his voice out there and it heard correctly. I completely 110% agree with everything that was said in this video so far.
IFCS systems, which I suppose is a universal problem, but one that affects vehicles more. The state of ground vehicles is truly tragic. I really hope CIG can take a good hard look at what we have and endeavor to improve them. We could have fun and engaging ground vehicles if even some of these problems were addressed. Beyond that, CIG needs to reanalyze its approach to ground vehicles and stop creating rule of cool gimmicks that are nothing more than LTI tokens. Nothing demonstrates the vast, high-fidelity scale of Star Citizen like seeing it from the ground. Star Citizen is filled with thousands of kilometers of detailed, immersive planetary environments that players just have no reason to enjoy. There's a lot more CIG can do to address that elephant in the room. But if you ask me, improving ground vehicles is a great place to start.
Well done.
Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to my community here on YouTube.
Well done. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Here we go. We've got ourselves a DG360 spotlight. Woo. I don't know how I got that note. I squeezed myself under the desk, Pepe. I know, I got to keep it clean today. I'm sorry. This is from Just Pray 411, who says, DG, you are turning into my favorite content creator. Hold on a second.
Yes, sir. You're not gonna eat me.
Not just for SC, but YouTube in general. Holy moly! That's what I like to hear. We got a true DG360 fan right here. I understand there's a lot of people that come to the channel for Star Citizen only, and then they're like, okay, bye, bald dude with a soul patch. But when you take the time out to sit down and chill and have some fun, which is, you know, it's highly underrated out there on the internet. We try to offer fun. We try and offer a chill place to discuss things together, a nice chill environment. Super important. I don't see that out there that much, you know, especially in the Star Citizen realm. It's very polarizing. We accept all different types of viewpoints as long as everything's constructive here. So it's nice to see when somebody's saying, oh, hey, by the way, I like you. So let me just say thank you. Yes, and let me just have a little banana fountain music. I thought that's your other account. Keep on being real. You won't ever have to worry about that. That's the only mode I know. That's the only gear I know, buddy. I'm always going to keep it real with everybody here. And that's just the way you do it. That's the way you do it. That's the way most people should do it. I always promise to just keep it 100 with you guys.